Alright, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh my gosh.
Our glorious Phantom Arcade over here.
Hi.
Alright, so thank you for agreeing to meet with me today. To actually ask you some questions about not only your game, but also how development is, and just overall, like, how's your crew doing? Yeah, if I may ask, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing just swell, honestly. This is I'm extremely excited to be here today in order to be able to talk with you about stuff. All right, let's hop straight in. Let's go ahead and just start off with question number 1. How much has the development pipeline for Friday Night Funkin' changed since the Kickstarter?
Radically. It's almost completely different. It doesn't even look anything the same. I'm gonna try and keep this somewhat concise. When we first started, it was like art would just go straight into the game. Like it was only final art. And there was a shakeup not too long ago where now there's like a lot of kind of rough assets that get done, which is funny because that's how Nightmare Cops. Like a lot of how I learned how to make games is from Nightmare Cops, which I worked on at Newgrounds. And the only thing I didn't do was do roughs beforehand, which they did, and now we're doing roughs. So now we've completely aped the Nightmare Cops development pipeline with some modifications.
So just a complete overhaul of the development pipeline then. That's all right. Moving on. Question number 2. Any scrapped ideas for Friday Night Funkin' that didn't make the cut?
So the game's not done yet, so there's no ideas that haven't made the cut because there hasn't been a cut yet. Though I guess maybe that's like not entirely true. I think already I see the internet knows about this stuff, or like the hardcore sycophants do. Like there was supposed to be like ducking under like a bridge in week 4 that like you would hold down poses to go under, and then all of the henchmen would be killed and new cars of henchmen would pull up. Things like that, where it's like week 4 is so set in stone that I feel like even though that was quote intended, it's like George Lucasing it at this point to go back and add that, because you know it's just like. Also, same with like I forever ago I said the order of the weeks would change, and that's another thing where it's like that felt plausible within the first couple of years, but at this point, like when you say week 3, that's Pico's week. When you say week 4, that's Mom's week. When you say week 2, that's the sort of Payless week of kids. Like it's too set in stone at this point. So there's like a handful of ideas, and I guess but there's still like a lot. There's still a lot of stuff that I would think would be cut, but as time goes on, it kind of ends up getting worked back around in, so I almost don't really want to say anything too crazy because it's like there's still some things that were considered cutting room floor that are gonna pop up somewhere else in the game. So it's never too late. Cassette girls. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, I remember seeing that like teaser art of Cassette Girl, and that's just always been in the back of my mind. So who knows?
That has mind-fucked thousands of people across the globe. There are going to be 25-year-old men who are going to be sitting there shaking in their boots waiting for the day that will never come.
It has to be week 8. It has to be week 8.
It does have to be week 8. Who else, like, bro, tell me, who else could week 8 be?
I don't know, girlfriend's cousin-in-law? I don't know.
Exactly. We're fresh, we're out of ideas. That's all we got left.
All right, question number 3. How's working IRL with the Funkin' crew?
That is the most blessed experience by far. That truly makes me wish that I just had a studio that had people in it. Like, genuinely, there were even like a lot of pipeline shakeups that came from working in person. So it's like, yeah, that was blessed. Plus, I got to meet the entire team. The entire team got to meet each other. I think I talked about it on like Instagram kind of by showing it, but it's like, what is it? Me and the crew, we all went to go see Pink Pantheress and Chainsaw Man Rize film, and we all got to synergize on company culture and taste, and I'd say thousands of good things came from that. And also at the same time, like, the game has taken a second to make. It's okay to say it. I feel like Le Seraphim also wouldn't have gotten done so absurdly fast because we got that offer like just like it feels like days before the level came out. And we'd figured out a lot of cool stuff working out in person that helped get that done super fast. So IRL was coding.
You mentioned company values. Little additional like look into that. What would you say like the biggest company value to you guys is?
I would say that the number one rule of the company, generally, I think it comes down to taste, because that's an interesting one where it's like, because it still is indie, and even though we've changed how we run internally a lot, it's still like a lot of the way the company runs is on like good faith and like, you know, kind of trusting certain team members to do something. But I wouldn't say the main word's trust, because at the end of the day, I'm directing it, and that means I can change things. It comes down, I'd say, to taste. Like, different team members, I think, have different like interests, and I kind of trust each one to be like hyper autistic in their specific field, and so then their taste comes out in like what they're good at or like how good their decisions are. Like passion and taste are huge, because it's like, one, you need to be driven, and two, you could be driven, but then without taste, you might just be driven to make like a 100 song long Huggy Wuggy mod. And it's like, that's great, that's amazing, but that's not what I want from base game. So it's like the taste matters as much as the passion, but passion is important. I really wouldn't cross your fingers, but if the Huggy Wuggy creator's listening, my DMs are so open, bro.
So Huggy Wuggy is a possibility.
Yeah, also coming out before week 8. Nah, it's... Yeah, I don't know. I would say like passion and taste. There's like a lot of people that write in asking if they can be hired. I mean, the first thing somebody does when they send that in is like, I just look at their art and animation, and it's like, if what I see is like awesome, it's like I have a mental note. It's kind of what happened with like Saruki and Saster 15 billion eons ago in internet time. Is like, they actually didn't ask, but it's like I just made a mental note by seeing their stuff. And there's a lot of times where I see people's stuff, then they also ask to work on the game, and maybe I don't need people at that moment, but I'm stroking my chin like, and like, I guess like passion almost goes without saying in a sense. Like, you need to be passionate to do art, and by extension work on the funkin team. So then it's like, there's so many passionate people in the world, that's almost like the barrier to entry is passion, and then after that it's taste.
Good answer. It's a good answer.
Yeah, that's my answer. And then I feel like by being together in person with the Funkin company, we all can share taste, you know, because everybody has different tastes, everybody has different strengths, but then we can kind of like align and like kind of get to understand each other better and merge tastes a bit, homogenize just a tiny amount in person. So
all right, question 4. What did you think the reception to the first demo of Friday Night Funkin' would have been before it got popular?
I didn't even expect it to have the reception it got. Like, if there's one thing I can credit to Ninja Muffin, it's that like I was never gonna share anything about making the game. I was making it purely for fun. So then when it got posted online, just it resonated with people way more than I thought. I was just gonna let it come out and speak for itself, but I think that like publicizing it a bit, it was like almost shocking how much people liked it. I mean, also like the original game, like I think everybody remembers how that plays. Like, I guess if you're asking, had Funkin never had any clout, what would people think of it? That's I don't know if I want to answer that question.
All right, moving on then. Question 5. How does week 8 change Friday Night Funkin'? You've made it clear week 8 is special, but how?
I can summarize this one. Week 8, in my mind, the reason that I haven't released it so far and that it's taken so ungodly long is that I've really wanted it to be essentially like, in the past, Capcom would do various versions of Street Fighter, and each one was essentially like a whole new game. I feel like this is kind of like that. Like, see, saying Funkin' 2 it sounds weird, right? But it's basically like, in my mind, despite all the updates it's gotten, Funkin' has kind of just been still waiting for the actual continuation. And this essentially, in my mind, is the start of Funkin' 2. So that's how it changes it. Is it's almost like the fresh start of like the next part of the game to me. Right. I feel like it kind of hypes it up a little bit.
Yeah, I honestly, I really like that answer. That's question number 6. This one I actually personally want to know. How do you adapt characters to Friday Night Funkin'? Do you have any sort of like guidelines that you need to strictly follow, at least for you and personally your team? Or how exactly do you go about adapting?
This goes back to taste, I guess, again. Like, it's sort of how I I guess it's like a mix. Like, generally it's how I interpret the Newgrounds characters, but then I'm working them into, I guess, what I imagine Funkin' to be. We also get the aspect of passing it through Evil Skater for designs, which, you know, helps like keep the art consistent. Though it's like, it largely is just, you know, I grew up watching Tankmen. I thought it was awesome, and, you know, I'm friends with Johnny Utah now, so now it's like Tankman being in the game is kind of like that, where it's like, well, this is how I thought of Tankman. And then Pico being in the game as well. It's like, I grew up with like all the Pico media on the Newgrounds site, so then it's like, when I put Pico in the game, it's like, well, this is how I feel Pico is. It's not like a direct translation of like the 1999 character, but it's like my take on him up to like my standards of how legendary he is to me. And then also working it into, I mean, like, I work at the office with like Tom and Jeff, and it's funny for like, they give the character so much reverence, but also at the same time, like, they're like so open with however people interpret it. The one anecdote I can share is when we were working on Le Seraphim, I was actually going to vouch to keep the collab small, but there's a team member who wanted it to become a bit of a bigger production. And so I followed their whim. We actually changed it from being just boyfriend and girlfriend singing the song together to having the actual Le Seraphim girls, which then I had to fucking argue for the rights to their likeness and all that and like litigate. But then the same team member who had the idea to scale up the size of this like little story chunk also wanted the Le Seraphim girls to have the exact same art style and proportions as boyfriend and girlfriend. And I guess that's where it came down to like my taste, where I was like, okay, the idea to scale this up into like a bigger story thing, like, yes. Not every character who goes into the Funkin' world just gets boyfriend and girlfriend eyes. I thought it would be fun if the Le Seraphim girls look somewhat like their real life counterparts. So I guess taste. It all comes back around to like taste.
Question 7. Are there any video game properties the Friday Night Funkin' team would like to collaborate with? Be it in-game, more in-game weeks or collaborations, or as DLC for another game, like how Rift of the Necrodancer recently just got some Friday Night Funkin' songs. DLC for other games, like even if it's like arcade-based or just other rhythm games in general.
You know, the greatest skill you can have is to be just deliriously envious of others, like a kid in a candy shop, or when you see what other people want, you're like, hey, I also want that. Being a fan of DDR, you know, I've seen Megalovania in DDR, and it's like, whoa. An indie game can just have songs in DDR. So it's like, yeah, having songs in DDR would be amazing. I really also like that Le Seraphim was like really outlandish for us, like that it just felt so weird. I guess like either want something that makes so much sense or no sense at all. Like, I don't know. Like in Metal Gear Solid, there's like the ape escape thing where like Solid Snake would hunt the monkeys and like shoot them. Like, who the fuck thought that up? Like, could boyfriend and girlfriend appear as like characters in like whatever the next Doom game is that you like run up to and rip them in half for like bonus points or something? Like, I don't know. Like, what weird places where they don't belong could they show up in other games? And also, what games make sense to come over to Funkin'? You know, could I ever get Jammer Lammy? Is that in the cards? Would God in heaven ever allow that? That's the kind of stuff I want to hunt for. What the hell? And then Funky Friday got the Sonic collab. What's going on in this world? There's so much main story game content that we want to get through that I feel like there's 1,000 collabs on my mind that I want to do, and that, like, we even have a bunch lined up, but it's like that a lot will probably wait till new story stuff is out. And then there are already exciting collabs that we have cooking. And then after that, I would love to go after just more complete fucking nonsense collabs.
So, speaking of the exciting stuff, when you guys are working on the game, this actually kind of leads into question 8. What is your favorite part of making an FNF week?
Like, I guess it's like communicating like an idea. Like, like in week 7, it's weird. Like, I am good friends with like Johnny Utah. We're pals. People see me and him like joke around online. I almost said jerk off online. And like, I think that, you know, part of me and him's like friendship came out in that level. So for week 7, it was fun that I could just put just the goofy friendship of Dave and Jeff into the game. Like that materialized into like a playable thing. That's where like all the ending lines came from. The inner cutscene dialogue came from me and him joking around. I feel like sharing that friendship became that level. And then for like week 6, like I've like met just insane sociopaths live like in my lifetime that I wanted to create a character that was a sociopath or like this kind of narcissist. And then also bake that into like a love for like 16-bit like visual novel dating sim game. So it's like I love like sharing like this type of thinking or worldview. What's the next question?
All right, question 9. How do you combine inspirations without being derivative?
I feel like there's so much shit where if you take it and you tweak even just the tiniest amount of it, you would be shocked how outwardly it feels so different. Because like our free play menu really is very adjacent to another free play menu. In a game, I just can't remember the name. But I don't know, you know, by way of having like the characters animated on the free play menu, I really like the way the flames look. There's like tweaking just like a little bit, I feel like takes it so far. I feel like as long as you're not aiming for a complete one-to-one, you're generally like pretty safe. But obviously like any way you can think to kind of put a twist on it helps. I don't know, it's funny, I guess that's one that I almost just really don't worry about too much. I feel like so long as I approach it with good intentions and I'm not trying to outright rip it off, it will end up feeling, and if it comes from the heart, I guess it just comes from the heart. If it comes from the heart, it'll feel good. Because like, you could say that a game like Dead Space is like a carbon copy of like Resident Evil 4. And they kind of admit to that like their game is Resident Evil 4 in space. But as a fan of both, I don't feel that way. Like, yeah, the gameplay feels like almost identical, but I don't know, just by way of it being in space and having this different story, like this gameplay in a different context, it feels just so new. And so once again, I feel like as long as it's not too direct, you're okay. As long as like it connects and like interweaves into like the other pieces of something you're making, it's fine. Like even like the arrows, right? Because it's like arrow gameplay, I feel like that is like very DDR, but then it's like, how many games have like first person shooting gameplay? Like that's almost like a standardized form of interactivity in a game. So then on top of that, I really do feel like having the characters animated in tandem with the arrows almost is enough to like really distinctify it. And I'd also like to hope that a handful of things that are coming in the game will also help to further that, but I don't know. That's just how I fucking feel.
With talking about like love letters and inspirations, question 10 actually, are there any inspirations that aren't publicly known for Friday Night Funkin'? Or at least for like the current game release?
I'm trying to think if there's anything that's actually slipped by people. I think the one that I feel like some people recognize it, but not everybody, is the stickers for when you exit a song where all the stickers plaster over and remove it. The stickers that like pop up and go away is directly from like No More Heroes 1. If you go into a boss fight, that's what happens. Like 1,000 stickers come up and then they get taken back. So it's like, when I did it, I was expecting for that to be really on the nose and for people to kind of see that as like a Suda51 like a love piece. But then it's funny that like, I guess it's weird, like it's been more than 10 years since like No More Heroes came out. So I guess it's like, hey, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. And I guess, hey, how many people know that like the free play is pretty much inspired by like Project Diva? That one's a bit more common, I think.
I would have to agree with that one, especially as like a big Vocaloid Project Diva fan as well. I could definitely see the inspiration on that one.
You know, it's funny. Also, people say that like the game is like DDR, but you know, since I had never played DDR, my first thought when I was making this game was to make an evolved version of Step Mania. So if I see people say like DDR, but then it was actually Step that like the arrows came from in my mind. Because the Step Mania is a game where you click arrows to the thing. Like that's the DDR, you dance. So, and once again, I'd never really played into DDR, so. The DDR PS2 games are pretty good, and I guess I have played those. But it's funny, when I was playing those, because you play it with the D-pad, because I didn't have the nasty pad on the ground that like crinkles up. I still just thought like, wow, this is Step Mania basically, but on PS2. Even though I know DDR is where it came from, but But that's the thing. By making this whole game, I've actually gone full circle. Where now I'm a huge DDR fan. That's like, I've gotten like all the PS1 games, and I've played like most of the songs at like most of the cabinets. Like I've played now physical cabinets of like DDR Extreme, Supernova, all the way up to like A20, and now like the New World or whatever. So it's like now I've escaped the new gen LARPer category and worked my way back around to just like real heads. So.
And of course, David's a big DDR fan. Moving on to the next question. Question number 11. What is your personal favorite update of the new revival era? So about 2024 to now.
Probably, man, getting Weekend One done was awesome, but I think that like, oh, see, it's a tie between Playable Pico releasing or just the mobile update in general. Like the mobile update genuinely feels like I'm like living in the future. That was like impressive to me. I feel like I impressed myself by making mobile, where it's like, wow, we released the game on like a platform that's not just the internet like that. And I felt like we did a pretty good job. That's also like when Hundred came on, and it's like I really like that guy, so it's like that's a pretty fond memory, kind of just for like the time in life and the update itself. Me and Corey drove all around and like filmed playing the game in various spots to make like the goofy ass trailer. Like I feel like that trailer came out pretty good, where I'm happy with that. Whenever I go on the Google Play page and I see like him playing the game all crazy, because like somehow Google Play like cropped that one part of the video that's like the insane ending part. Yeah, when I see the guy playing the game in front of like the domestic dispute in like the beautiful valley in front of the guy killing himself, I feel like I'm just happy. But content-wise, I don't know, like the Playable Pico thing, like that had like a lot of content in it. So then it's weird, like content-wise Playable Pico, but I feel like just overall I'm the happiest. You know, the night that the ranks came out, even though that's such a small update, there was just a couple songs, and then the ranks, that also came with the free play thing where Boyfriend could kick back and watch TV on free play. And that same night that came out, I remember somebody clipped that they got like him watching the gay cats thing where the guy's like screaming while having gay sex in the background on the TV, and somebody like screen capped it and was like mortified, like asking what the fuck was in their game, and that shit made me laugh so hard. That also is like one of my favorite updates.
I kind of don't want to look that up, but also I'm curious.
It's a PG cartoon that just has risque audio.
Okay, that's a
maybe
little more
maybe it's like
reassuring.
PG-13. Maybe it's PG-13.
Moving on, question 12. What type of game is Friday Night Funkin' trying to be?
No, this question's not too loaded, actually. This question's not so bad. Friday Night Funkin' is trying to be kind of like a cartoon series inside of a game, while also being like an action-adventure game. Like, I feel like right now it's seen as just a rhythm game, but like, I feel like having more action-adventure elements is where it's trending. So maybe I've just given away the secret formula to all of this, but I feel like that's the hook. I feel like that's actually what makes this different, and why I feel fine about everything, is because like the longer the game goes on, the longer it trends towards being this like adventure style thing. I mean, it'll never stop being like arrows and music, but you'll see. That's a good enough answer.
We will see. 13. If you could describe the story of Friday Night Funkin' in as little words as possible, what would they be?
The story of Friday Night Funkin' is a guy who really wants to fuck his girlfriend, keeps getting cock-blocked by thousands of like freaks and monsters, and just kind of has to beat each one to get a chance at cracking his sweet misses. But just new crap always gets in his way.
I'd say, from what I've seen, that's perfect. That is a perfect answer.
More things will get in the way of boyfriend trying to have sex with girlfriend, and bigger problems will arise, and they will overcome these issues together, or won't. You know, I don't. You know what? Because it's a spoiler, right? I say they win, right? Like, who knows? Maybe I'll just go fucking psycho. It'll be dark ending.
After seeing some FNF mods, I'd be scared to see reactions. 14. How does Newgrounds influence Friday Night Funkin' outside of cameo characters?
Like the overall culture. Like I grew up using the site. I literally work at the Newgrounds office with those nasty, rotten boys. Those nasty, rotten boys who corrupted my pure, innocent soul. So now, inside of everything I make, is the evil tar-like Newgrounds essence that boils through.
All these answers have been really good. I'm trying to hold my laugh. Alright. Next question. Will additional playable characters get their own levels, like in Weekend 1 with Pico?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. It's maybe even the best question. Quite possibly the greatest question. I'm thinking of a few right now that are like upcoming, and it's like, it's kind of like yes and no. It's kind of like yes and no. That is hands down, goddamn, shoddy. Like you asked a fine ass question. Fuck, you asked. Damn, girl, that's a good ass question. Damn, you walk around with those questions that good all the time.
Moving on, question 16. How does the team handle adapting a character to remixes? Does every character have a gimmick?
That's, see, we're cycling back around to the trust answer. Like, when it comes to adapting the character for remixes, it's part myself and the others kind of like making sure that we kind of clamp on to the... When it comes to kind of keeping the character stylistically consistent amongst remixes, it's largely that we're telling the musicians up front what we want. We did this kind of in bulk early on, so we sort of had like Pico and I almost said the next playable character is. I'm so stupid. But I didn't. Pico and
saved it.
And the other character with these 10 of 2 we made early on. Kind of is like a hodgepodge in a sense. Pico sort of got saved because Pico ultimately kind of has the hip-hop angle, so I guess he got like a lot of hip-hop stuff. Ever since then, with all the stuff we've done, it's way more, because we initially hired like a huge batch of people and had it, like the stuff made in a huge batch, where now it's getting like really like a lot more selective. So I spend a lot more like one-on-one FaceTime with people, kind of driving what each remix sounds like. So I feel like that's playing a part in it now. It still, to me, almost feels like it's still a bit of a hodgepodge. On top of Fabs, who charts all the songs, they sort of have this inner mechanization in their mind where they've broken down to me. They're like, because we have the team, like a lot of people on the team chart, but then all the charts have to pass through Fabs. It's funny, I feel like I ever see people bring it up. Corey Spazkid from the Newgrounds office, he helps chart songs. Him and Kate are on the team charting songs, but Fabs does the final chart of everything. And yeah, Fabs will be like, Dave, it's like, this has to be this way. Like they mentioned Pico's songs, they went super hard on like doubles as like a stylistic thing for Pico. And then other playable characters have each of their own quirks, and somehow Fabs in their mind is constructing this like huge Bible that of course isn't written down fucking anywhere and only Fabs knows in their labyrinthine mind. But so I think between myself and Fabs, the characters kind of get bent into the being a specific flavor, but we'll see if that even really comes through that much in the end.
So since we're kind of back on Pico, what do you think the reception to Weekend 1 would have been had it released in 2022?
That is genuinely an insane I think about that. Not that often, but a bit. A bit. I don't know, because I think that, like, the idea at the time was, because it's funny, like, just flat out week 8 was going to be next. And Isaac at the time had expressed that he wanted, like, a small break from doing songs that were really hard. And then Ninja Muffin at the time had mentioned to me, he was like, Dave, how about we go for something that's like less hardcore, I guess? Because like week 7, despite that it's like, funny with Jeff's lines, they're kind of in like a life or death situation, and that whole scenario got kind of played up to be this big event for them. So then the idea was like, what about something a bit more laid back? And then initially I was thinking like, okay, we'll do a cool level that's like chill. And so I was thinking like, okay, well, it'll be Cassette Girl will be the cool level. But then I saw Saru's mod and I realized that like what I was thinking really wasn't even that different from that. So I was like, oh, just fight the thing against Cassette Girl and Cassette Girl being cool. I'm like, that's it's got to be more novel than that. Like, it wasn't interesting enough. So then it came to me where I was like, oh, well, it's like Darnell is a character that I feel like is slept on within the whole Newgrounds sphere, and that would mean that you'd play as Pico, which would spawn into this whole other thing. So I was like, okay, from a gameplay standpoint, this is the best way to go. But then, yeah, that took as long as it took, as we're all aware. And yeah, it's funny, it was always planned to be like a small diversion before getting back on track, but then that's where it's just kind of been for a bit. So I don't know, I feel like it would have felt like a fun sidestep before we get back to kind of like the scary main adventure. It's kind of just been the piece that people have been held on to. It's almost served as like this weird technical thing of like, oh, this is what the Funkin crew is capable of. It's like a tech demo for what's coming next. And honestly, I don't hate that, that's fine.
All right. So these next two questions, I'm gonna kind of push them together a little bit. And especially because in a few questions, there's two more that I can kind of merge together here. So questions 18 and 19 here. What is your favorite song, as well as your favorite week in Friday Night Funkin' overall?
I'm so basic. I love tutorials so fucking much. And every version of tutorial that gets made, I love it so much. I'm so deared and endeared to tutorial. But beyond that, I really like Stay Funky, the character select theme with Lotus Juice, and I really like Coco Erect that has the kind of the jungle in it, like I listen to on my streams. And then favorite week is week 6. Like, I think week 6 I feel really precious about, where I feel like that one just came together just perfectly, and it's just damn good. I feel like from the upcoming stuff, week 10 might be my new favorite, but we'll see. Week 10.
All right. We're gonna have to look forward to week 10 when that releases. We'll have to make sure nobody skips over how good week 8 and 9 are.
They're good. I probably people will like those more than week 10, but I feel like I feel like a lot of people's favorite weeks are like week 7 and 4 and 3. But I feel like I like the stuff that's almost just like, I'm not even gonna go into it. Listen, when week 10 comes out, you'll see week 8, you'll be like, damn, nice. And you'll see week 9, you'll be like, damn, nice. And then you'll see week 10, and you'll be like, Dave, I get it.
All right, question 20. If you could go back and do something differently in Friday Night Funkin', what would it be?
There's a lot of stuff I've learned about like management and just like running a team that I'm still getting better at. I could have cut down the wait time by just being a lot better at that early on. But then at the same time, it's like the butterfly effect where it's like, would it really have turned out the way it, like, because I like the stuff that's about to come out and I like the stuff that we've made. Would it really be the same otherwise? But assuming it would be, assuming somehow I keep the exact same brain and the content doesn't get changed, and I kept meeting the same people, I guess I would have just changed how, like, I would have just liked to have taken all the knowledge I have about like running a team and put it back in place in like 2022. I don't know. Life is kind of weird. You meet people at certain points. Like, the game right now would literally be impossible. We would have never ever gotten the mobile version if it wasn't for me meeting Hundrick. We wouldn't have so much of the upcoming content if it wasn't for me meeting Fabs. And we would have had the mobile version if it wasn't for meeting the mobile team. There is a mobile team that does all of that. The base team, and especially myself, are like constantly overseeing that, and there's like a tight lock on production. Like, we helped the mobile team polish that to be as good as it was. But just the infrastructure, knowing how mobile works, all that crap. If we didn't have the mobile team, if we didn't meet them, it wouldn't have existed. So then it's weird, where it's like I could take so many things from now back to the past and play the shitty games that suck ass, but it wouldn't matter without having all the people that I've like found over the years that are kind of making my broader ambitions like possible. You're getting too many loaded answers. I feel like these answers are too fucking long.
No, you're putting answers that you're passionate about. That's good.
And you're doing the reassuring voice, like no, it's fine.
It's really
fine.
Genuinely, it's fine. We're grateful for your answers. So the fact that you're willing to put this much passion and thought into your answers, we're genuinely grateful for these answers. We couldn't be more excited for any of these.
I'd like to hope some of these answers gain value like 5 updates from now. Like 5 updates from now, you look back and you're like, oh, it all makes so much sense.
Question 21. Any plans for console releases of Friday Night Funkin'?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we could have had it on console already. I want base game to be at like a certain point before I want it on systems. I'm standing in the way. I'm like fucking Zorro bleeding out, standing in the way of funkin' on consoles. Because it's going to have to cost like a decent price to come out on consoles. And I feel like I don't want to ask that of anybody until it has the amount of content that I feel like is worth asking that. So it's just got to wait. It's just got to wait. But then it will feel cool. Then it will feel cool where it's like, oh my god, funkin' on consoles. And like, maybe this leads into a whole different thing. Ever since the game came out, because when it came out, it was kind of this like rough around the edges internet thing. And ever since people took it so seriously, and maybe this is what's led to this being the way it's been, is I've wanted funkin' to become a real video game. Like, we're always going to be a bit rough around the edges. We're always going to be a bit messy. I think there's like an appeal to that. There's always going to be that like ghetto jank charm to funkin' in some aspects, but I want a game that retains the Newgrounds jank and charm, but actually gets polished to being a real video game. They might say, well, Dave, what's a real video game? And that's hard to answer. There's no definitive answer for that. But it's like, as we keep adding things onto it, it's slowly, I feel like I'm turning Pinocchio into like a real boy. Like, I feel like funkin' is slowly, because like when the game didn't even have ranks in it, I was like, this isn't a real rhythm game. It doesn't have ranks. How can you call this a rhythm game until you can get ranks and fight for a perfect? It's not a rhythm game if you can't fight for a perfect. But then it's like, now that we have that and it's great, it's like, well, that's not enough. It's like a real video game still needs to have more than this. Like, this still isn't enough. I'm just thinking of myself in the shoes of like, if I were to be browsing a console and want to download this, it's like, it still feels like, it's like, I'd say at this point funkin' is really polished for an internet thing, and I'm proud of that, but it's still not like a real video game, which also makes the Le Seraphim thing even funnier, that they would just collab with something that's like so fucking weird. And that, I think there's a charm to the fact that we got that collab, but when we did, it might be less charming once we've evolved into more of a real game. But that's what I want. I want us to be a real game. And I don't think that the game will be done getting updates when it's a real game, but I will be so much happier and it will be on consoles when it is a real game.
Questions 22 and 23. What is your favorite mod? As well as, what is your favorite fan character?
It's crazy that this is actually easy. I've been public about this. I dearly love 17 bucks. I wish nothing but the worst torment ever on the person who like leaked their shit and got that to stop, because I truly felt like that was one of just the best things I had ever seen. And you know, it's funny, I'm a Newgrounds psycho, but I'm not always really in the in judgment section. I swear to God, I found the fucking 17 bucks cartoon in judgment, where like the dude gets like his weave snatched off while he's being like mugged in the alleyway. Like, I've just been there for that shit, and I love 17 bucks, and that's the best. It's easily hands down the best mod. It will always be the best mod. And the best character, because I'll say this, 17 bucks is the best mod, but it's the best mod because I feel like they almost just don't give a fuck about anything that's in it. They just put whatever they want in it. So like, all the characters are like really just fucking weird and scary. The character that I've seen that I feel like I feel so much infinite love towards, even though they're so controversial, is Sky. Like, Sky is easily just the most lovable mod character, where they're just so fucking adorable. And you, like, back in the day, people would do stuff where Sky like sings Ugh, and then in place of Ugh, she's like, Aah! Like, there's so much personality to that, and BB Panzu just brought it to life. And I see Sky fan art all the fucking time. Like, I don't keep up with what the new Sky mods are. I've only seen like the original, but like Sky, like, it's like Sky and Whitty are like the two characters I think people might just accidentally think are actual funkin' characters. I'm not sure if the average person knows that they're not really in the base game. Like, if you're just somebody who like sees funkin' from the outside, that's probably a common misconception with those two. And now BB Panzu helps me make the game. Ain't it beautiful?
Let's go, BB Panzu! Alright, so, any guest musicians you would want on Friday Night Funkin'?
Oh, you sweet summer child. There's so many, and there's so many there's another tough one, because there's so many that we're in the process of getting. And there's also so many we have got. That are just like, their songs are sitting around just waiting to be released as parts of other updates. So there's like some obvious ones that people are like, Dave, you gotta get this person, and it's like, bitch, you think I'm that fucking stupid? I don't already have them. It's like, I'm way ahead of you. Shut your damn mouth. Think I don't got taste? Think I don't know what's up? I'll give like one away. Like right now, one we don't have that I'm trying to get is I really want Soichi Terada. He did all the music for Ape Escape. And he just is like DJing around America right now. He was like in Brooklyn recently, and I'm so dumb I didn't go see it. But we're trying to get Soichi Terada. Like he would be great. There's still like a lot of like Namco guys and like other like I want like people who have done famous VGM stuff. Like that's mostly what I want. But at the same time, like what do I have to do to get Pink Pantheress? I'll get on my knees. I'll hurt myself. There's a few pop icons, and then there's like a lot more hyper autistic VGM people I want. And there's a lot of people that are like really tucked away or like really hard to reach that like we're trying for. And I'll never give up. I'll never give up hope. I'll keep building the connections. I'll keep building funkin, and we'll just keep going till we get fucking everybody. Till this game has like a Smash Bros. List of credits of just fucking people on this.
Man, what I would give to have Coors K and Hideki Naganuma.
Oh, you sweet, sweet funkin' people. When you put that laugh in the thing, you gotta put like insane echo reverb on that.
Alright, moving on. Question 25. 5 years ago, Hank J. Wimbledon was first teased as a playable character for Friday Night Funkin'. So, with that said, how's Madness combat content in the game going?
I feel like I'm that dude from Channel Awesome, where it's like that Power Rangers episode will be out when it's out. Like the Madness stuff, it's like we're at the office, we're all pals with Crinkles. Crinkles has given his blessing since before his game came out. The idea has been set in stone. It's just a matter of time. It falls under like an earlier answer where it's like we won't see Madness stuff in the game until after the story continues and we get to do, because there's a decent amount of just like actual original boyfriend and girlfriend adventures to go on first before we go back to hanging out with Newgrounds pals. So that's just my answer on that. I cannot wait to do the Madness stuff. I've also watched Madness since I was like a small child, so it's like there's a lot of like autistic love in my heart for that.
So with that said, follow up to the previous question. As you've stated publicly in the past, apparently, as you've stated publicly in the past, Cassette Girl is scrapped from Friday Night Funkin'. So if you can answer, what would her week have been like?
I can't answer that because a good magician or artist never reveals their tricks. Anything you don't use, you need to be like the Indians and like rip it apart and use everything down to like the bone marrow and the meat. Everything that was going to be in their level got taken and is just being dispersed to other levels as like unique properties. So I can't answer that.
Just we will make use of you.
Right, pretty much. That's like basically people who like hear this as you play the game and updates come out. You can just think to yourself, you can think like, this right here seems pretty neat. Like, was this supposed to... No, it can't be.
2 years ago, you said Friday Night Funkin' was 60% complete. What percentage would you say it's at now?
It's funny, I said early on, because I think people ask certain things where it's like you could pass on certain ones. I feel like the 60% thing, I feel like having to explain it would be one of those things that I feel like goes down such a rabbit hole, and then explaining the follow-up would also confuse people. I feel like there's no way to give a concise answer on this without just flat out spoiling things, so I'm gonna hit pass. I'm gonna use my pass button on this one.
That's totally fine. That is totally fine. But the temperature in your room will increase.
I can deal with that. It's okay. I'm like literally, like I said earlier, like I couldn't turn my air conditioner on, so I'm just sweating in my room answering these because I came in late to this. And the mic will pick up the air conditioner, so I'm literally just sitting like flat out naked on a towel on the floor, just answering this, just sweating my ass off, like actually. Question 28.
What are your thoughts on the reception of the Special Collab 1 Spaghetti?
That was the funniest shit in the world. that was easily the funniest shit in the world, because it came out and everybody was like, yay, new level, and then people were like, this isn't what we fucking wanted. It was like pure insanity in the best way, and I knew it would be. I knew exactly what it would be. I feel like people on the team were like shocked. They couldn't have imagined it, but I feel like as somebody who's just grown up using the internet obsessively, I knew what it would look like, and it was awesome. That was so fun. Obviously, I wish Week 8 was just out and people could have it, though. It's like, for what that will be like a cherished memory in my mind of people being absolutely fucking just confused on how it happened in the first place. And then it is so funny seeing the K-pop people be like, your game just got like a world famous band, and you guys are bitching saying you want just more of your own game story that you're gonna get anyway. Like, they were like, what? They're like, this is a once in a lifetime chance. And everybody's like, fuck the once in a lifetime chance. We want Week 8. And then in my heart, I'm like, aw, they're wishing death upon me, but in such like a, in a way that like boosts my ego so much.
All right. Next question. What's next after Destination 3?
Destination 4.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, no pit stops?
No pit stops for a bit. It's just gonna be destinations for a bit. I can feel right now this is one of those phrases that getting locked in is a dangerous thing to say, but it's just true.
Question 30. What advice would you give to people wanting to create games like FNF?
Just draw every day and make shit that's fun. Have friends, hang out and make shit with your friends. Like, Funkin wasn't made to be some huge game. It just kind of basically came about by like accident. So it's like, just make stuff. I don't know, if you just make stuff and you make stuff a lot and you make stuff passionately, you'll probably make some pretty good shit if you're thinking about making something fun and goofy first. I've seen a lot of people who make their games kind of like just thinking about money first. It's not like it can't work, but like, more often than not, if you were just in the field of making shit, that will go pretty fucking well for you. Yeah, sorry if have friends is controversial. If you can't have friends, just make shit for fun. But honestly, if you don't have friends, you know what? We have to live in some super positive, okay, have a marketable talent. The person just wrote that there. I will say that. So some people say like, oh, Dave, so naive. So you talk from your damn throne, say like having friends, lucky bastard, and just make stuff for fun and it will work out. And when I made Funkin, I was working really hard at being an animator. I was, pushing myself to be at Newgrounds. I was helping with Nightmare Cops. Like, I had already put myself in a situation where I was having a skill that I was honing and making money with. And then on the side, I was just making other stuff, like the Newgrounds collabs, cartoons, just stuff. So it's like, I'm not saying to abandon the thought of making money, or to like only make goofy stuff, but it's like, yes, having a marketable talent. Like, you should honestly have a way that like you imagine your skill, you will make money with it, but like, live life, make stuff on the side. It's advice that even myself now could go for. There's a lot of stuff outside of Funkin that I would like to make and intend on making. I should do that more. But granted, I am also like, I've got this whole thing that's like a huge responsibility. If you're a bit younger than me, take advantage of the fact that you might have a bit more free time and just make shit beyond your 9 to 5.
Solid answer. I really do like that answer. Next question. So we have 3 questions left. Where do you see Friday Night Funkin' in 10 years?
Let's lower that to 5.
All right, where do you see it in 5 years?
The funny thing is, I just made you change the question and I still don't really want to answer it. I know where I want to see it, but then it's like, I feel like once you say it out loud, it sets the precedent, and that's always really dangerous. But I will say that I do know where I do want to see Funkin' in 5 years, and that's something I am breaking my back to make a reality. And lately, it's going pretty good. But I'm not going to say exactly what that is. But you know what? Maybe that's even a decent enough answer that it's like 5 years from now, I still want to be making Funkin'. I have so much shit I want to do for this game and this just overall thing and idea. And it's so much... Like right now, how I see Funkin' in my mind is so far beyond how everyone else sees it. Like, everybody else still sees it as this week 1 to 7 and weekend 1 thing. And it's like, it's so much larger in my head. So I want to get that out. I want to get that out and have people see Funkin' the way I see Funkin'. And then beyond that, I want to start seeing Funkin' in ways I never even thought I would see Funkin'. I'm still working on all this shit that I've thought of for a while. I want to start getting to the crazy shit where I say, oh, Dave, don't do that. That's dastardly. But then I'll say, but Dave, but wait, but we need to. This is gonna make it fresh and scary and neat. I want to still be working on funkin in 5 years, and I want it to be cooler then than it is now. And I think that won't really even be hard. I'll add on one small thing. I already think that I think that when you build on an idea, it exponentially gets better. I think that even though we blazed through and made all these weeks and then have made all this content in the last while that have like, it's like, I would say that like the updates don't push funkin forward, like, you know, straightforward. They flesh funkin out like in width. I'd say like funkin has infinitely more depth now, because now there's the concept of playable characters, erect mixes, ranks, playing it on your phone, like it's widely more accessible. Funkin hasn't gone directly forward, but it's gotten like wider, so already the game is infinitely cooler to me, because now that means that like every week that comes out, we'll have stuff for Pico, we'll have erect mixes, every week we'll have ranks to get, every week you can now play on the go, on a bus, in your car, where the fuck ever, I don't fucking know. Like, that means that every single thing we do going forward makes the game way fucking better than it was a game where you play one level with 3 songs on your fucking computer, no questions asked. So I already think the game is like infinitely better than it was just having that, and that makes me more excited to do the driving forward stuff. But there's still also plans to keep expanding wider as well.
So, actually, continuing on with that, for the next question, what is the best thing you've gotten out of working on the game thus far? Whether it can be actual content itself, it could be, you know, connections that you've made, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think that like the best thing I've gotten out of it is that I'm like even more neurotic and delusional than I was when I started. Being an artist, you kind of have to just be like neurotic and kind of stupid when you're working on stuff. You have to just believe that anything's possible and delude yourself constantly. And I always had like grand ambitions, but you know, funkin just kind of like where I had ever hoped to be at this point in my life. This is so much infinitely beyond that. Like I was sitting at the Newgrounds office, I was sitting like a fucking monk under the waterfall with my legs crossed, eating like 1 meal a day, and I was like, you know what? One day I will like the thought of ever being able to like financially take care of myself, I was like, no. 1 meal a day is enough. One day in the future, I will earn these things. I will get there. And so I had ambitions, but they were, I guess, very humble. And now funkin is like made me just like, oh well, like this is possible and this is possible. And if I want to reach out to this guy who worked on my favorite PlayStation game, I'll reach out to them. And if I want to reach out to these people or work with these people, or like, it's just going to show me that like genuinely anything in my brain is possible. I used to have this fucked up mindset that like making one cartoon should take 1 year. I would spend like a whole year on like a 4-minute, 5-minute cartoon. And for a long time, I thought that was like, well, that's just what it is. I'll just make a cartoon that gets a couple, maybe 100,000 views at best, and I'll finish like 1 a year. And now it's funny where it's like the fact that funkin actually has had this hiatus, it's still just like the amount of content made, I feel like I have aspirations for it to be infinitely fast. Like I'm like, instead of just like residing myself to this world where it's like, yep, I just have to work all by myself and do this one thing by myself per year. It's like, no, it's like, man, it's like I want to pump levels out. I want to work with like a ton of fucking people. I want this, I want that, and I feel like there's nothing that's not possible. I'm like completely delusional. I think like literally anything's possible. So yeah, it's made me like infinitely like dumber in all the best ways, I think.
I like that. Infinitely dumber in all the best ways. All right, that brings us to our final question here. This one's a bit more of a like retrospective on, I guess, just how things were before. Where would you be if Friday Night Funkin' never took off?
I do think about that sometimes. I do. The answer to this one really is crazy, because I'll say this. This is gonna be like a multi-layered answer now that we're at the end. There's really nothing I would change about my life. I feel like every single thing has gone the exact way it like needs to. But like obviously there's like pitfalls, right? It's like, you know, if Funkin could have like not had like a hiatus, obviously that would have been preferable, but I needed to kind of go on this journey to find out X, Y, and Z, and to make the Funkin I imagined in my head, I needed to do all these steps in the right order. And I say that because in my head I'm super critical, where it's like, you know, funkin needs to take this long, it needs to be like this, it needs to do that. And you know, like, I'm very critical looking at how things have been up till now. But then the funny thing is that if funkin had never come out, my life wouldn't be bad, it'd be fine. But like, I would just be at the Newgrounds office, I mean, which I still am anyway, just helping on Nightmare Cops. I guess I just would have done way more Nightmare Cops animations, you know, and that's like fine. Like, there's nothing bad about that. Maybe Nightmare Cops would be like closer to done. I still help on Nightmare Cops regardless, which is also the funny thing. Like, I still do like tons of balancing and testing, and me and Corey have contributed endless ideas to Nightmare Cops. Like, I can like comfortably say that, like, while I have done nowhere close to the bulk of the work on the game, Nightmare Cops would not be the same game had I not been on the team. Like, obviously Jeff, Corey, and like the rest of the team have pulled a fuck ton of weight because I've been off on funkin, but still, I'm like really happy that I've been there. Like, I've added so much to the identity of that. But then, on the flip side, it kind of feels cool that like I can expand Newgrounds culture by making this game. So while there would have been nothing wrong with my life just staying working on Nightmare Cops at the office, I kind of feel like my life has been more of this like wacky fucking weird adventure, having had all this happen. So even though I don't like seeing stuff like the 17 Bucks guys getting like fucking hacked or whatever, it's like, had I never made funkin, there would have been no mod culture. I wouldn't know any of these like crazy artists that I'm learning about like every day. There wouldn't be all this rejuvenated interest in Newgrounds, and I don't know, like, my life would just be like less interesting, I guess. It would be like less varied. I like seeing the community highs and lows. I like seeing my own highs and lows. I like meeting new people and like working on the game. I mean, like, even seeing this dude, the Mark Damon, like that thing he made with the visualizer, like, there's so many people that I'm watching go on to be like god, like, tier renowned artists, having started on funkin. And who knows how many of them will work with in the future or not. Like, it's an interesting path. I'm like pretty happy with it no matter what happens. Because yeah, the alternative is like, I would have just helped out more on Nightmare Cops, and I already help out on Nightmare Cops. So I feel like this is the better future, where there just gets to be more shit in general. Is that a good enough answer, you fucking asshole? Just poking and prodding me all fucking night with questions non-fucking stop? Never shutting the fuck up. Dave, why this? Dave, why that? Dave, what about this? My god, like,
shit,
always with the fucking
bad.
what ifs and the questions with you. Fuck.
So yeah, thank you for your time. Yeah, is there anything else that you would like to say just for the end of the interview? Anything that you'd like to say towards the audience, the modding community, just game creation community in general? Anything that you'd like to add?
The last thing I have to say, the last fucking thing I have to say, very last thing, is that when week 8 comes out, and it's coming out, I want everybody to enjoy it. That's it.